Well, Marcy Kantz is a write-in candidate for mayor for the city of Meadville, and she joins us this morning. Marcy, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, before we get into it, let's learn a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am from Meadville, born and raised in Meadville. I have two brothers, Bruce Levito and David Levito, and they both live here locally as well. My mom and dad are David and Susan Levito. My grandparents are also from the area. My grandfather was Chester, the late Chester Levito, who had many dairy farms and was also in construction. And then on my mom's side, my grandfather was the late Robert Bailey, who built the Park Avenue Plaza.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So great history there.
Yes.
Yeah. So you decided to run for mayor.
I did.
Yeah. So talk about the decision leading up to that.
Well, it was kind of odd, but a few friends contacted me and just said, hey, do you know what's going on? You should run for mayor. And I was like, what? And I didn't take them all that seriously. And then I got another text message. Hey, do you see what's going on? You should run for mayor. And I kind of took note after the second friend contacted me. And so I started looking into it. And I didn't like what I saw. It's not every day that a progressive group comes to your town and picks 3 candidates. And I started looking into PA United and saw how progressive they were and the candidates that they chose. And I started talking to my family and friends and my husband Eric and my children, and they were all very encouraging and thought that I should take a stab at it.
That part's really important, isn't it? Making sure that the family's behind you before you make a decision like that.
Well, absolutely. I have 3 children currently living with me, and a new husband. So he's been along for this wild ride. But they were all very much in support of me, and we worked together as a family, business-wise, as well as living in the same household. So yeah, it was very important.
So did you start out and thinking, okay, well, here's a couple things that I'm really passionate about, and then as you kind of got going, you discovered I'm passionate about all these things. They all affect me and my family.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I made the decision obviously very late, and is why I'm a write-in candidate, but I did talk to a lot of different people about issues and what it was going to take to be mayor in Meadville. But I feel like I've been drinking from a fire hose. So I made the decision late in July, and I've just been talking to a lot of different people about a lot of issues in Meadville.
Have you found that the issues that folks are bringing up to you are the same issues that maybe you have personally, or are you discovering there's really a lot out there to kind of go through and figure out?
There is a lot out there. Yes, there's a lot out there, but I would say that there's a few main issues that I think we need to focus on. A lot of people like to talk about the budget. The budget is definitely an issue. However, I think it maybe gets too much attention. I don't think that we are in serious dire straits right now, but I think that we could be there eventually. So the budget is definitely something that I would concentrate on. Other issues that people like to focus on is the tax reassessment that everyone's talking about, the countywide tax reassessment. That is a big, scary issue for not only the city of Meadville, but the entire county, because that would affect everyone.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, because that's a topic that a lot of people kind of spout things off, but really don't know the nuances behind everything and how it works and what that could mean to them.
Yes. So what it means is they would do a reassessment of property taxes in the entire county. So right now, the city of Meadville, we pay higher taxes. A lot of people avoid the city of Meadville, so their property taxes are lower in Vernon and West Mead. a property tax reassessment would likely raise the taxes on people in Vernon and Westmead, as well as in the city of Meadville.
Not to mention the cost of doing that assessment.
Well,
right?
the cost, I have been told, is around $6 million. So that's, yes, that's huge. So, but there's a lot of people pushing for that. I'm not pushing for that. I'm very concerned about what that would do to our constituents in Crawford County, as well as to people on a fixed income in Meadville, or a new young couple that just bought a home and base their budget on the current taxes. Our taxes are high in the city of Meadville, and making them go higher, I think, would hurt families. But the rule of thumb, from what I understand, is that a tax reassessment would raise a third of the taxes, keep a third the same, and then lower a third of the taxes. So if that is the rule of thumb, it's not going to solve our budget issues in Meadville. So I think that we should concentrate on doing other things to stabilize our economy and our budget in the city of Meadville.
When people come up to you, or when you're out and about talking to different folks or groups, what are the concerns that they share with you? What are some areas? Because you'd mentioned, it's not always just the budget. And a lot of times people hear the big things, vote for somebody, and then all these little things come up during their term, and they go, "What? I didn't want this to happen, but that's what you got." So what are some of those other things that have been coming up?
Well, being that I own a gym in Meadville, along with my husband, and my daughter works there, the three of us hear a lot about parking in Meadville. So parking is, it might seem like a small issue, but it's a big issue for businesses downtown, such as myself. We own Keystone Strength in downtown Meadville. It's right across from the Academy Theater, where parking can be an issue. Certain times of day, it's not an issue at all. Other times of day, it's a big issue. We have a few hundred members, so we hear from our members that they can't find parking, or they can't find a quarter, or they've got 3 parking tickets in the last week or so. I know my daughter has gotten plenty of parking tickets herself. And as business owners, we try to have, we pay for parking, and we try to have our employees in paid parking that we purchase from the city, not at the meters. However, I can tell you that I didn't have enough paid parking for my employees. So that makes it very difficult. These employees are running out, setting alarms on their phones, and running out and putting quarters in the meters. So I would like to address that concern. I think one of the easiest ways that we could do that is by using an app. I know the city of Erie is using an app called Easy Meter, I believe it is, and that would be very low cost to implement. You use the current parking meters, and there's a sticker on it that'll tell you which parking meter it is. So when you drive up, you park, you pull up the app, and I actually saw it demonstrated online. And you punch in the number of the meter that's in front of you, and then you pay for your parking through the app. And you can upload money on the app, and you can actually save money by uploading money onto the app.
So a lot of these issues, you mentioned that, just talking to different folks around the community, business owners. If you go to the website, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Some other key points: paid full-time firefighters, well-staffed police department. Talk a little bit about that, because this has been a topic over the years.
Yes, it has. And actually, the fire department was the first thing that was brought up to me when one of my friends ran into me, and she actually suggested that we not continue with a paid full-time fire department. I am opposed to going to a volunteer fire department. Our fire department is not only serves the city, but they also serve volunteer fire departments outside of the city. So they also rely on us. I can tell you that sitting in my office on Park Ave, I hear that fire department alarm go off all the time. It's surprising how often it does go off. It can go off anywhere from 4 times a day to 12 times a day. So I think going to a volunteer fire department is not a good idea. I'd like to see it remain as it is. And
right now, it's been almost impossible to get people to volunteer for certain things or even to work. So I'd imagine that would be quite a challenge in itself.
Well, absolutely. Plus, when you have a volunteer fire department, that adds to your response time because they're not coming from the fire department. They're not sitting there ready.
Yeah.
So, that is why we pay more taxes in Meadville, because we have a full-time paid fire department as well as our police. That was an issue recently where they wanted to move the dispatch from the police to 911. But our community really came out in support of the police, and that was shut down pretty quick. So a well-staffed police department provides for a safe community, and that is the city's top priority, to keep our residents safe and protected, and that's exactly what our police and our fire department does.
And I'm sure you'll hear from them where they'll say, you don't want to know what goes on overnight. We just do our job, and for the most part, everybody just thinks, hey, we have a great place to live, but behind the scenes,
well, absolutely,
there's challenges.
Yes, there are a lot of challenges, and I talk to a lot of our city police. They come to the gym, and I frequently talk to them about what's going on. And a well-staffed police department also makes it so they can target areas, do full investigations, and apprehend the criminal element that can take down cities. So we want them not to be run thin. They need to have the time to conduct the investigations, target the areas, keep the criminal elements out of our city.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Marcy, what's the website that people can go and learn more about you?
It is MarcyKantzForMayor.com.
And there's a lot of great information on there. People can read your background, they can read your agenda, and see more about you by going to your website. You're also on Facebook. People can find you there too.
They can follow me on Facebook.
So you're now a politician.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you?
It's been exhausting. I will admit that. Although it's been a lot of fun as well. I've met a lot of great people, Brian Custard being one of them. But I've enjoyed it. But it has taken a lot of time away from my the businesses that I'm running, which is a daycare in downtown Meadville, right across from the Academy Theater. The gym and the daycare are right across from each other, so that makes it very convenient for me. But it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of interviewing, it's a lot of answering questions. But it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure it's a lot of listening involved with that too, right? People coming up to you and getting your take on things. And everybody, with social media today, everybody has their own opinions on things. I'm sure that has to be challenging as well.
Well, it is challenging. And I certainly don't have all the answers. And, coming in late on this, I prefer to listen to a lot of people rather than talk about my plans for the city. There's a lot to learn in a short period of time.
It sounds like you enjoy being around kids, whether your own or with your business. This is such a great area. Lots of opportunities for our youth as well. And I'm sure that factored into the decision to amount of writing campaign, just creating and keeping a great environment for our youth to be raised in.
Well, absolutely. That's extremely important. I raised 4 kids here, 2 boys and 2 girls. And it is extremely important to have a robust downtown and a safe environment for our kids and great schools as well. It's very important. A lot of people, I know that I left the area for 10 years, and I never thought I would come back to Meadville. But I came back to Meadville, and I was a stay-at-home mom and raised my 4 kids, left my career as an air traffic controller to come home and raise kids here in Meadville and to be around family. And so a lot of people stay in this community to raise their children. So I'd like to make sure that it stays a safe environment and that we need a robust environment as well. Our downtown needs to grow, and it is growing. We've seen a lot of great business come to town and a lot of new construction and remodeling of our current buildings on Chestnut Street, and I'd like to see that continue.
I hear so many stories from folks who come back after being away for so long, and the mentality is, we're just going to come back. I'm going to come back for like a month. I'm going to visit family. I'm going to stay with my parents, but then I'm getting out of there. There's nothing going on. And they stay because they discover that's not true. There's a lot happening.
Yes, and I think that, of course, as you get older, you get wiser, and you realize what's important. And a small town can be very conducive to raising a family. So I think a lot of people do end up staying around that plan to leave.
Do you think that helps you in just having that perspective where you can go, hey, boy, you know what? I came back. It's great. We have so many opportunities and resources here. I mean, there's excitement about that and sharing that with others, right?
Yes, I agree. I also think that having left here for 10 years also gives me a great perspective, knowing what else is out there, knowing that we don't have to deal with traffic. I lived right outside of D.C. in Leesburg, Virginia, where it took forever to go anywhere if you headed into D.C.
My brother's down there now.
Is he?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize how traffic can affect your life, and that's something in a small town that we never have to deal with.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, again, let's talk about the write-in side of things. Always a challenge, but people can get excited and help spread the word. What are you doing to help get that message out there?
Well, we're hitting a lot of different areas. We have obviously a presence on social media and radio, obviously, as well as TV, which I unfortunately did not realize this was going to be a TV interview. I thought it was just radio, so that was a surprise. However, I probably should have known that. We are also going to be hitting the newsprint in order to get the older population. It's important to hit them because they need to understand that a write-in campaign is a write-in vote is not that difficult any longer. It's actually a type-in vote.
That's right.
So we're going to have a campaign out there on how to do a write-in vote as well. We're going to do that in print. We're going to do a video on that. I have a young man working on a video right now, and we'll be putting that out on our website and also on social media. We're also going to cover how to do a write-in on the absentee ballot as well. So we'll have a video on that as well, and we're also going to do advertising in the newspaper because I know a lot of people are concerned about that.
If folks want to get involved and help with the campaign, obviously with the COVID situation in the past year and a half, how someone campaigns has changed a lot. But are you finding some of those norms coming back into play, meeting with people, knocking on doors? How can folks get involved and help with the campaign?
Yes. Well, right now we are beginning to launch our door-to-door campaign. So we need as many people willing to do that as possible. That's going to be a big effort. as well as just letting people know how important this election is in Meadville. There's a stark difference between myself and my opponent, and I encourage people to look into that, look into the issues, the backgrounds, the organization backing the two city council members that are running, and also my opponent for mayor. It's a very progressive organization, and I don't think Meadville residents will back this.
Marcy, thank you so much for your time this morning. All the best. And again, if folks want to find you or help out.
So they can go to marcykantzformayor.com. They can follow me on Facebook. They can message me on Facebook, and marcyformayor@gmail.com.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.